In this video, we're going to be working with continuous data. That means we are going to be working with a mean to come up with a 95% confidence interval. And in this situation, we've got a research team. They're studying the amount of time a red light stays red. So they have a sample of 46 lights. The mean time is given to be 76.1 seconds. That's how long the red light stays red. And we have a sample standard deviation here as well. So to come up with the 95% confidence interval, we need the standard deviation of the distribution first. So what I mean by that is we need the distance from the middle here, the center, to one standard deviation below the mean to one standard deviation above the mean. And to come up with that, we're going to use our formula right here, which is this sample standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. So we have both of those pieces of information. We plug it in and we get that standard deviation of this distribution right here. Now from there, we need to come up with the margin of error. And the margin of error is the distance, again, from the center, but to two standard deviations below the mean to two standard deviations above the mean, because remember, we're doing a 95% confidence interval. Now, with AP statistics or some higher level types of statistics, you're going to do this a little bit differently, but for now, we're going to take a formula of 2 times that standard deviation. So basically, we're just going to double it to be able to get to that lower number here and that higher number here. So if we plug in our information previously, we'll end up getting a margin of error of 0.678. And again, one more time, if it's AP statistics or some higher level math, we'll probably have a different number that we multiply that standard deviation by, maybe 1.96 if we're going for the 95% confidence interval. But for the meantime, just keeping it simple, we'll just roll with 2 here. Now it's time to actually calculate that confidence interval. What is it going to be? So we're going to start with our average, which was 76.1. That was in the middle. So we put it right here, and we're going to subtract our margin of error and also add it. And that'll give us that low number here and that high number here. So here's our values: 75.422, 76.778. That's going to be in seconds, and that gives us our actual confidence interval. Now, if you go back to the beginning of the video, the next question we had to answer was coming up with a sentence that describes this confidence interval. What does it mean in that context? So a lot of times we're going to start it as saying we are 95% confident the true mean of whatever that population may be. In this case, we're trying to figure out what that true red light time is. So we'll say that we're thinking it's going to stay red between 75.422 and 76.778 seconds. So that would be a good sentence that we could use that would represent that confidence interval in that context.